This is text 2, The Highwayman by Alfred Nomes. Part 1. The wind was a torrent of darkness among the gusty trees. The moon was a ghostly gallon tossed upon cloudy seas. The road was a ribbon of moonlight over the purple moor, and the highwayman came riding. The highwayman came riding up to the old inn door. He'd a French cocked hat on his forehead, a bunch of lace at his chin, a coat of maroon velvet, and pants of brown doe skin. They fitted without a wrinkle, his riding boots were up to the thigh, and he rode with a jeweled twinkle, his pistol butts a twinkle, his rapier sword handle twinkled under the jeweled sky. Over the clobbers he clattered and clashed in the dark inn yard. He tapped with his whip on the window shutters, but all was locked and barred. He whistled a tune to the window, and who would be waiting there but the landlord's black-eyed daughter, Bess, the landlord's daughter, braiding a dark red ribbon into her long black hair. And dark in the dark old inn yard, a stable door creaked, where Tim, the horseman, listened. His face was white and peaked. His eyes were hollows of madness. His hair was like moldy hay. But Tim loved the landlord's daughter, the landlord's red-lipped daughter. Dumb as a dog, he listened, and he heard the highwayman say, "One kiss, my bunny sweetheart. I'm after the gold tonight, but I shall be back with the money before the morning light. Yet if they press me sharply and harry me through the day, then look for me by moonlight, watch for me by moonlight. I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way." All right, part 2. He did not come into the dawning, he did not come at noon, and out of the tawny sunset before the rise of the moon. When the road was a gypsy's ribbon, looping the purple moor, a red-coat troop came marching. King George's men came marching up to the old inn door. They said no word to the landlord. They drank his ale instead, but they gagged his daughter and bound her to the foot of a narrow bed. 2 of them knelt at her window pane with guns at their side. There was death at every window. And hell at one dark window, for Bess could see through her window the road he would ride. They had tied her up to attention with many a joke and laugh. They had bound a gun beside her with the muzzle beneath her chest. "Now, keep good watch," and they kissed her. She heard the doomed man say, "Look for me by moonlight, watch for me by moonlight. I'll come to thee by moonlight, though hell should bar the way." She twisted her hands behind her, but all the knots held good. She wrathed her hands till her fingers were wet with sweat or blood. They stretched and strained in the darkness, and the hours crawled by like years, till now, on the stroke of midnight, cold on the stroke of midnight, the tip of one finger touched it. The trigger at least was hers. The tip of one finger touched it. She strove no more for the rest. Up she stood to attention, with the muzzle beneath her chest. She would not risk their hearing. She would not strive again, for the road lay bare in the moonlight, blank and bare in the moonlight, and the blood of her veins in the moonlight throbbed to her love's refrain. Thlot, 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 thlot. Had they heard it? The horses' hoofs ringing clear? Thlot, 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 thlot. In the distance? Were they deaf that they did not hear? Down the ribbon of moonlight, over the brow of hill, the highwayman came riding. The redcoats looked to their sights. She stood up, straight and still. Flot, flot, in the frosty silence, flot, flot, in the echoing night. Nearer he came and nearer. Her face was like a light. Her eyes grew wide for a moment. She drew one last breath. Then her finger moved in the moonlight. Her gun shattered the moonlight, shattered her chest in the moonlight, and warned him with her death. He turned and sparred to the west. He did not know who stood, bowed with her head over the gun, drenched with her own blood. Not till the next morning he heard it, and his face grew gray to hear how Bess, the landlord's daughter, the landlord's black-eyed daughter, had watched for her love in the moonlight and died in the darkness there. Back he sparred like a madman, shrieking a curse to the sky, with the white road smoking behind him and his rapier sword held high. Blood red were his spurs, and the golden noon wine red was his velvet coat, when they shot him down on the highway, shot him down like a dog on the highway, and he lay in his blood on the highway with a bunch of lace at his throat.